Hi everyone, it's Lizzie and welcome to A Tale of Many Books. This is my new booktube channel. I'll just be posting a load of stuff about what I read, reviews on books, what I'm planning to read. I guess if you watch booktube you'll know the kinds of videos that people do. I wanted to start this channel because it's finally my summer and I love to read, and I wanted to start to log what I read and when and how I enjoyed it and stuff, and I think doing videos of that is the best way to do it. So to start off with, I am going to be showing you my wrap up for June and what I'm going to be reading in July. So the first book I read in June was Another Day by David Levithan. This is sort of the spin-off to Everyday. It's told from, what's her name, Rhiannon's point of view rather than A's. And I loved this book. A lot of people disliked Rhiannon's view on everything, but I thought it was really interesting to see the view of someone who is meeting these different people every day and how they sort of find out that it's actually something that's really happening, this sort of supernatural, almost very odd, magical thing that's happening, and how she dealt with it. And I really enjoyed this book. I think I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, so I must have loved it. I definitely recommend this book and Everyday if you haven't read them. The first book tells the story of A, who wakes up in a different body every day, and he meets this girl one day and pretty much falls in love with her and spends the rest of the time trying to find her again. 100% recommend this book. The next book I read made my heart sing. It was A Court of Mist and Fury. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses a couple of months back. It was quite recent that I read it, and I found out this book was coming out so soon, and I was like, I've got to read it, and I was not disappointed. I completely changed my viewpoint from the first book. If you don't know, the first book's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. Follows Feyre, who kills a fae, and so hard to say, Feyre kills a fae, and then has to go and live with Tamlin, who is a beast. Well, he's a fae, but he can turn into a beast in the Feylands rather than living at home in the human realm. A Court of Mist and Fury does not follow Beauty and the Beast, but I have to say this book is like my favourite book in the entire world. I completely changed my viewpoints on who I wanted it to be with. I completely changed my viewpoints on pretty much everyone in the story, and I highly recommend this book. It was so good. 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. Okay, so I didn't read that much in June. I had a lot of exams going on, so I only read a total of, well, it's still June now, so I read a total of 5 books, what I'm currently reading, but I'm not going to finish that in June, if that makes sense. So the next book I read was Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. This book really surprised me. I wasn't expecting much from it. I hadn't really read any reviews. I hadn't really read what it was about. I knew it was a contemporary, and I was kind of just expecting it to be your average contemporary, that girl meets boy, girl falls in love with boy, etc, but I really enjoyed this book. I have to say, I do love a good contemporary, and I did fall in love with Etienne Sinclair just a little bit. Yeah, this is a series. I'm actually currently reading the other 2 books. This is a sort of series, they kind of interlink kind of thing, and I thoroughly enjoyed the first book and then ran out and went to get the second 2 books straight away. Definitely recommend this if you love a good contemporary. It's the summer, everyone wants to read contemporaries in the summer, obviously. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars as well. There's a recurring theme of books that I really enjoyed lately. But yeah, love this book. The next book I read was only a couple of days ago, and that was Crown of Midnight by Sarah J Maas again. This is the second book in the Throne of Glass series, which I really enjoyed the first book. I read it after I'd read... Did I read it after? Yeah, I read it after I'd read Court of Thorns and Roses, which isn't usually how people read them because people tend to have known about Throne of Glass earlier. But I read A Court of Thorns and Roses first and was amazed by that and was like, oh, I don't know if Throne of Glass is going to be as good. It was really good. I really enjoyed the first book. I thought it was a really interesting storyline. I hadn't read anything about assassins before, especially a badass girl assassin, and I think I preferred the second book just because there was a lot of action between the two characters I want to be together. I'm not going to say too much because obviously it'll spoil it for those who haven't read it. There was a lot of action between the two characters that I want to be together, even though by the end it doesn't seem like anyone's going to be together. But yeah, really enjoyed this book. Cried a lot, but loved it. 5 out of 5 stars again, because apparently I really love all the books I read in June. So the final book I read in June is P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. Had to get that right. This is the sequel to All the Boys I Loved Before, and I was okay with the first book. I thought it was alright. I thought it was just a very light-hearted contemporary for a much younger audience. I thought the writing style was very young on it, and I think that's probably Jenny Han's style. I think she does write for younger teenagers. I read her Summer I Turned Pretty series when I was about 13, maybe 12, maybe, I don't know. I was quite young when I read it, but the second book was really, really good. I much preferred this book. The writing style was a lot more mature. Even though it follows straight on from the first book, it kind of seemed like Lara Jean had grown up quite a lot in the space of a week, which I suppose she had after all that happened in the first book. For those who don't know, in the first book, Lara Jean has written 5 love letters to 5 boys in her life that she's ever loved, and she kept them in a hat box in her room, but one day they all get sent out and she has to deal with the consequences of all these boys finding her letters. So this book follows on from that. I'm not going to say too much because it'll spoil what happens in the first book, but I really enjoyed it. Jenny Han knows how to break my heart. She just knows how to do it, and she fixed the pieces back together at the very, very end of the book. I was almost thinking she wasn't going to go where I wanted her to go, but she doesn't disappoint me. I do love Jenny Han's books. I think they're great for the summertime. Obviously, contemporaries are summer reads pretty much for me. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. There's the potential I would give it 3.5, 3.75, but I gave it 4 because I did enjoy it and I really liked it, so top notch. Okay, so now we're going to go on to what I'm going to read in July. This isn't all that I'm going to read. This is probably what I'm going to read in like the first week of July. I'm probably going to read a lot more books since I'm on the summer, but I'm the kind of person that doesn't buy books unless I'm going to read them, so I don't have a load of books piled up in my bookshelves that I haven't read. I just have the books next to my bed in a little pile that I haven't read, and so this is what I've currently got. I will probably do another order very soon for a load more books, but this is what I've got so far. So I'm currently reading, as you can see, Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. This is the second book in the Anna and the French Kiss series, but it's not really a series because it doesn't follow the same characters. This one is about a girl called Lola who, well, I've only read the first chapter. I don't really know what goes on in this, but I know that she's really concerned about these people that are coming to live next door to her that she used to know. She's got a rock star boyfriend, and there's something about these twins that live next door. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to this. I've got literally all of mine at contemporary reads pretty much at the moment because I just need some. It's such horrible weather here at the moment. I live in England, obviously, so it's horrible weather and I just need something to make me feel like it's summer. So this is what I'm currently reading. So there's the potential I could finish. I don't think I'll finish it today. So this will be my first July book that I will have finished. After that, I'm obviously going to read Isla and the Happily Ever After, also by Stephanie Perkins. I know who Isla is because she's mentioned in the first book, and I'm assuming I know who her love interest is because they are also mentioned to be linked to her in the first book. So I'm interested to see where this one goes, because I really enjoyed the guy in this book with a different person in the first book, so I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy this one as much. I hope I do, because I hope that this makes me realise that he's meant to be with her, but we'll see. And the final book I have is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I read Fangirl about half a year ago, it must be now, and I fell in love with it. I am a fangirl pretty much about a lot of things, and I thought it was so good. And then as soon as I found out that she'd brought out the fan fiction as a novel, I was like, I need to have it. I'm really excited to read this. I also I'm quite happy because this is obviously about two guys. I don't know how much they're going to be interacting romantically together because obviously they hate each other, but I like to read books with a different variety of romances. I don't like to read just the same romances all the time like you get in most books, which is why I really enjoy reading David Levithan's books, because he writes with a lot of different types of relationships. So I'm really intrigued to see where this one goes, and I hope it's as good as the snippets that you get in Fangirl. So that is my wrap up for June and what I'm going to read at the beginning of July. Obviously, I'll probably do like a haul if I purchase some more books soon. That'll probably be very soon. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what kinds of books and like any recommendations or any types of videos that you really enjoy to see, and I will see you in my next video.